After 3 tough economic years, President Obama used his State of the Union address tonight to focus on the economy. He talked about jobs and the taxes paid by average Americans. 9 News reporter Bryce Onslinger is here with us with details on the tax issue and reaction from a local expert. Bryce?
Well, Carol, the president said he's laying out an American blueprint made to last, and much of that blueprint dealt with incentives for companies operating in the United States and the tax rates paid by middle-class Americans.
We can either settle for a country where a shrinking number of people do really well, while a growing number of Americans barely get by. Or we can restore an economy where everyone gets a fair shot, and everyone does their fair share, and everyone plays by the same set of rules.
President Obama wants to change America's tax code. He says people earning $1 million or more should have a minimum tax rate of 30%. And those making less than $250,000 should get a tax break.
If you're earning $1 million a year, you shouldn't get special tax subsidies or deductions. On the other hand, if you make under $250,000 a year, like 98% of American families, your taxes shouldn't go up. You're the ones struggling.
Crystal Faulkner is a CPA with Cooney, Faulkner & Stevens. She says there's a lot to how tax rates are presented. For instance, many wealthy Americans are taxed on dividends and capital gains of previous investments. That tax rate is 15%.
For most people who have invested money to generate those dividends and capital gains, someone along the line, whether it's them or someone they've inherited the money from, they've already paid tax on that income once. It's now been invested, and now they're paying tax again a second time on the income that's being generated from that.
The president urged Congress to stop the economic unfairness, saying that people like himself and other wealthy Americans need to pay their fair share. He also called on Congress to pass the payroll tax cut.
Right now, our most immediate priority is stopping a tax hike on 160 million working Americans while the recovery is still fragile.
And the president also thanked the American military for its service. He said for the first time in 9 years, no Americans are fighting in Iraq. And for the first time in 2 decades, Osama bin Laden is not a threat to the United States. Carol?
Thanks, Bryce. And we'll have more on the State of the Union address coming up in just a few minutes.